Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're doing Revolutionaries. And the topic for this Revolutionaries, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And now, a lot of times my Revolutionaries is talking about a historical figure that maybe some of the newer fans don't know that much of and giving you a little historical perspective, talking about somebody that helped change the game, and giving a shout out to maybe some lesser known talents in the current wrestling. This isn't one of those occasions. We're talking about a guy that everybody knows his contributions, and everybody has given him his flowers for those. This series wouldn't feel right if I didn't talk about Cody Rhodes, if I didn't make this video. Now, if you've seen my Revolutionaries videos before, basically we talk about a wrestler and what makes him revolutionary in pro wrestling, how they change the game. This one's probably going to be obvious to most of you guys watching. I mean, if you're watching a YouTube video about pro wrestling, chances are you know every bit of what I'm about to say already. Well, with that being said, let's just go over it, because I want to give the man his flowers. He's a wrestler that I enjoy. He's a wrestler that I've met personally and I think is a very nice human being in person. So with all that being said, let's talk about it. The reason I think Cody is revolutionary is one of the main things: him betting on himself. 2016, Cody was in the WWE and he was in the role of Stardust. A role that he wasn't really happy with, but he played very well in my opinion. I enjoyed his work as Stardust, especially when he had the Ascension with him. I thought that was really top notch, and him and Goldust together. However, he realized that Stardust was never going to main event WrestleMania. He was never going to be the world champion. And this is what Cody wanted. Cody wants to be the world champion. He wants to be, as he puts it, quarterback one. He wants to be the guy leading the promotion. So he asked for his release. And with that release, he puts out a list of things he wants to do. I think he did everything on the list but one thing. So yeah, he's pretty successful at that. His timing could not have been better. As Cody goes on to the independent scene and wrestles in places like Ring of Honor, TNA, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, we're also seeing the rise of the Bullet Club, and specifically the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And he kind of gets in with the Bullet Club. Famously, his friend Kevin Owens asks the Young Bucks to kind of help him along the way as he does his independent journey. However, I don't want to put this all on them, because I think there's a large component of the Cody Rhodes story that people don't really give him credit. I think these guys, a lot of them, were happy where they were. They were making a lot of money. The Young Bucks were making great money. Kenny Omega was making great money. They were selling merchandise like crazy. The Bullet Club had made them more money than they've ever seen before. But Cody Rhodes wanted more. And there was a tweet from Dave Meltzer in May of 2016 that lit a fire under Cody Rhodes' ass. Basically, to paraphrase it, and I'll put it up here so you can see what it actually says, Meltzer says to Cody Rhodes, or to the internet in general, on his Twitter page, he doesn't think that any other company could run a show in America and get 10,000 people to show up. How does Cody Rhodes answer it? Challenge accepted. At the time, he was part of Ring of Honor. He was wrestling in PWG, again, part of New Japan and the Bullet Club. So he felt like there was a momentum, and there definitely was. New Japan was running shows in America. They were getting good crowds. Ring of Honor had some of the best crowds that they ever had during this run. And he could see it was building. He could see there was something there, that the fans wanted something different. Remember, in that era, we have a Roman Reigns that's being forced down our throat, and he hasn't become the tribal chief yet, so as fans, he hasn't been accepted just yet. Vince McMahon's booking was on a very downslide, and it was in very much a period where WWE wasn't giving us the great shows that they're capable of. So fast forward a little bit, we come to the next year, 2017. Cody Rhodes, with the help of Ring of Honor, again, another unspoken of cog in this machine. Ring of Honor helps with the production, but it's a show called All In that's put on by Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega. Basically, Cody and the Young Bucks did all the legwork. Kenny Omega is pretty much the star for the show, and they run in Chicago. And not only do they sell out 10,000 tickets, they sell out the arena in less than 30 minutes. I could tell you, as someone that was trying to get tickets to the show, my webpage crashed at least 20 to 30 times just trying to get tickets to go to this, and I didn't get them. And then by the time I went to the aftermarket, the prices were just not right for me. But I digress. So All In goes out. It's a great success, more successful than I think anybody other than Cody Rhodes thought it would be. And that's why I keep bringing this up. Cody Rhodes is the conductor pushing this train forward. I'm not talking bad about the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega here when I say this, but neither of them were ever in a production like WWE and didn't know how they could get that train running. And I don't think that either Kenny or the Bucks would have pushed for what would happen next. They would have been happy with what they were doing, working with New Japan mostly and Ring of Honor in the States. What happens next? The Elite, they take a call from a guy, a wrestling fan that's got a shit ton of money named Tony Khan. And it works out because Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, all of them who are also building up their being the Elite and connecting with their fans, all of their contracts come up at the same exact time. And they all agree that whatever they do, they're going to do together. Again, this is some of the history that I see is getting rewritten now, and I've heard that Cody Rhodes wasn't such a big role in this. Well, they get together, they talk with this guy, Tony Khan. Tony Khan tells them, I have Warner Brothers on, we're going to be on TNT, I want to start a new promotion, I want to build it with you guys as the EVPs. So they all buy into this. On January 1st of that year, 2019, there's a special edition of Being the Elite that goes live right at midnight, right as the clock turns. And basically, it announces a new promotion, All Elite Wrestling. Now, here's where I can't say enough how Cody Rhodes affected the game. Not only did he bet on himself, not only did he think he could do better, not only did he think he could be a big star, he helped create the second biggest company in America and the biggest company outside of the biggest company since World Championship Wrestling other than the WWE. And in the early days of AEW, it was a lot of input from all the EVPs, a lot of input from Tony Khan. There were a lot of guys that he helped get hired. Ricky Saints, aka Ricky Starks at the time. Eddie Kingston was hired because he had him answer an open challenge. A lot of guys were brought in. Darby Allin, I believe, was brought in by him. He was one of his suggestions. So not only does he help create the company, he helps give them some stars. He helps build the company. And there's a falling out at some. There's something that happened that nobody wants to talk about, that nobody brings up. And I don't know what happened, so I'm not going to say this, but there's an obvious disconnect where you start to see Cody Rhodes distance himself from the Young Bucks, from being the Elite, from the Elite itself, and you see some of the All Elite fans turn on Cody. Well, that leads to 2022. Cody Rhodes decides, my contract's up, I'm going to go back to WWE. He's a surprise opponent for Seth Rollins, gets a huge reaction at that WrestleMania, and then we hear his story. He tells the story how his father held up the WWE Championship in Madison Square Garden, only to have it taken away, and it's something that he wanted to win that no Rhodes has won before. And as you know, as the story goes, he completes the story. He wins the world champion. So he bet on himself that he could be a main eventer, that he could main event WrestleManias, and for the last 3 years at the time of this recording, he's been the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. And he's wrestled two of the biggest stars in the history of the game, Roman Reigns, John Cena. We're probably looking at him being the main event of WrestleMania this year, whether it be night 1 or 2, so he's going to get 4 in a row. He's won 2 Royal Rumbles in a row. He's proved exactly what he thought of himself back in 2016 and before, that he was a top-level talent. He just wasn't getting the opportunity. Now that he's there, he has millions of fans worldwide cheering his name, singing along with his song. This is why I think he's revolutionary. He showed wrestlers that you could do it, that you could believe in yourself, that you can go out there, and if there's not something that you're being given, you could create a lane for yourself. You could go out there and, with the help of some of your friends, with the help of an investor, create a whole new avenue for hundreds of wrestlers to make money. At the end of the day, Cody's going to be judged by how many world championships he's won, how many WrestleManias he's main evented. But I think that part of what we should judge him on is how he made All Elite Wrestling become a thing. I don't want to say he's 100%. You needed all the ingredients. You needed the time. You needed the money of Tony Khan. You needed TNT to be there. But I would say he's one of the driving forces and one of the biggest factors of All Elite Wrestling existing. And if for nothing else, you love All Elite Wrestling, you hate All Elite Wrestling, it gives wrestlers an option. If they feel they're being underappreciated in WWE, they could go to All Elite. If they think they're not getting the money they deserve, they can play each other off each other. So this is why I think Cody's so revolutionary. Not only did he carve a lane for himself, he carved a lane for half of the industry, gave him a place to go that wasn't available 7 years ago. It wasn't something that existed. Because of Cody Rhodes, because of his determination, it's there now. So that's why he's such a revolutionary. That's why I wanted to do this video. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and you've been watching Revolutionaries.